What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine,
And I'm still James.
and we got us an epic movie review for Dolemite Is My Name. As promised, that movie dropped on Netflix last night, right? No, day on Thursday
Yeah.
night. So we got a review coming up, but before that, I got an intro. We got an intro. All right, we back. All right, so Dolemite is my name. And fuck it up, motherfuckers, is my game. which is mainly his tagline,
Yeah.
Dolemite. Uh Netflix dropped the Dolemite movie. If anybody don't know who Dolemite is, Dolemite was I guess you would call him. Well, it was a character played by Rudy Ray Moore that was a stand-up comedian. That he used to say these rhymes. How would you describe Rudy Ray Moore's his act, or was it? Should you say his character of Dolomite? Just
Sort of. I kind of look at it as like that old school. You know, how do I describe that? It's like I know there was like back when my folks were younger, like those old dudes were a dime a dozen. There was some dude
yeah,
at the barbershop always talking. You
right,
know,
right.
like always holding court someplace, had a rhyming slang for every situation.
Right. And that's something. And they show that in the movie, which I kind of like. That they didn't make it seem like he just made all this up. Now,
Right.
all the old heads around his neighborhood would come with these little rhymes, and that's something the dudes used to do back in the day. They'd just uh, throw out this little kind of like poetry, these rhymes of a I guess of a great man.
Yeah.
One in particular I remember he saying, I chew up railroad iron and shit out steel,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, and like even when they're showing the inception of it, like all these old dudes, talking, it's like it was that one-upmanship. So it's like, man, who's bad is that so man, he ain't nothing. Don't you ever hear about so and so?
Yeah.
Stick his finger in the ground, turn the whole world upside down.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like I remember growing up, like my uncles would always talk stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I know. So that's something we grew up hearing just about, old heads around the neighborhood or whatever. So it was right on the money on that. That's why I was like, okay, I'm feeling this movie. And I looked up a little bit up about Dolomite, which they was pretty close to being accurate of what was happening in his life at that time. I thought that he was a lot younger. He was like 43 by the time he came up with the character Dolomite.
Yeah.
So I'm
I mean,
like,
that's a
oh
trip
wow,
too, man.
yeah. And then I'm like, oh, so he had a whole a life going on before Dolomite, which I mean everybody, of course he did, but he did a lot to get up to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a lot of respect for that. But it's like so Eddie Murphy is playing Dolomite. There's a lot of good characters in this movie. I mean, there's a lot of good actors
Yeah.
in this movie. You got Snoop Dogg. He had kind of a cameo, but he was still
Yeah.
pretty good. You got Craig Robinson, which I was surprised that. Hey, I heard he sung the real vocals on hers. Like Craig Robinson
Yeah.
can sing. I think
Yeah, he got a
already
voice,
like
man.
a little right. I think he already got like a little singing thing going on with his acting or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you got Mike Epps. He did a good job as I can't remember his name. His friend in there.
Yeah.
And he got a couple other cameos like Chris Rock.
Ti.
Who was T.I. in there?
Uh, like the one black film company he tried to sell Dolomite to.
Oh, you know what?
Smooth talking.
You know what? I didn't even recognize him.
It took me a sec. I saw him. I'm like,
You
don't
know
even know
what?
that dude. It
I
wasn't until
did
like he
too.
started putting his fingers in. What we're trying to do now. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Ti.
You know, it's funny because I remember him. I remember this character talking all that stuff, and he was talking about how he was talking about the black exploitation movies that he did. He was like, yeah, and this Dolemite shit, and nah, that don't fit in with our other movies or
Right,
whatever.
right.
So it was one more. It was I had it in my head. Anyway, um, it'll come to me. But I
No
don't remember who
problem.
played Lady Reed. But she did a good
Oh,
job too.
yeah. She
Um,
was excellent.
yeah. So, like I said, Dolemite was a character made by Rudy Ray Moore. He's a comedian from the '70s, and he just kind of like made up. You know, he was doing stand up comedy, and he just kind of like made up this character that it caught on so big that it became a little. I think it became like a little exclusive club because he was always it was always dirty talk. So
Yeah.
you know back then everything was so taboo that if you got somebody, if you knew somebody who just said it like it was and who didn't have no filter, it made you like, oh, that it was like buying like it was like going to
Yeah.
the adult store. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
It was like buying porn
and
back
it's
then.
cool watching
But it
them
happened.
build up the character and the brand at the same
Yeah.
time. You know, so
Right.
it's like we can't sell this in the record stores. Well, look, I'll sell it if y'all print these records for me.
You're
You
right.
know,
Right.
and so it has that sort of grassroots, like you said, taboo nature about it's like, well, I ain't supposed to have that, so I gotta have it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they definitely showed that he was a straight hustler that made his own way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It wasn't no BS like he somebody put him on or somebody made. No, he made his own way. He did the little MC for the nightclub, and then he
yeah,
just started putting on his little act there, and then it started catching on. And then he started
yeah,
making his records. So I like that. I like the fact that they showed that. Now, one problem I did have though, I thought there was a little longer on his come up before the movie. I was like,
yeah,
I was feeling myself like, when they gonna get to the movie? When they gonna get to when he made the Dolomite movie? Which I appreciate them giving him some backstory though. They didn't just up and show, up and have him doing the movie. But I found myself kind of anxious waiting on him to get to the movie.
yeah.
How'd you feel about
You
that
know,
first act?
'cause for as much as I enjoyed like watching him build up the character, because I'm a big fan of comedy, specifically stand up comedy. So it's cool being able to watch someone build a character out and really
Yeah,
flesh out what that character is about. But it was so much of it, and knowing that I was watching the movie to see how the movie got made. It's. I don't think they needed that much. I think they could have cut some of that out. But
yeah. I just thought it was a little long, but it still was cool because it's like I mean, they didn't build his life up for as like young and stuff.
right,
They just kind of showed where he was at right before he came up with the Dolomite character or whatever. And I thought, like I said, I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool building them, but it was like it was just a little long for me. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
we already know. Let's get to the movie
Yeah,
stuff.
because I think it would have been a lot harder to watch if instead of focusing that much on him like performing the Dolomite character in clubs, they had been showing his come up as a comedian
Right.
to get to
So
the point of coming up with
they
Dolomite.
showed his
So
come up as a comedian for probably like maybe like 40 minutes or so.
yeah,
Where I'm like, okay, they haven't even mentioned them. He haven't even thought about the movie yet. Which I mean, like I said, it was still entertaining, but it wasn't. I mean, I was kind of feeling myself, what's up with the movie? Because that's what I remember.
right.
But that's cool. He still had fans of his comedy records, whatever. So getting to the movie, Eddie Murphy seeing Dolomite is seeing other movies, and then they like, man, this shit ain't funny, dog. We could do better than this. And ding.
It's something that always used to get me. When you go back to a certain point in time, it's like if you go back 80 years, you'll find some funny comedy. You go back 40 years, you'll start finding some really not funny comedy that everyone thought was the best thing
Yeah,
ever.
right.
You know, and so it's like it was the perfect time to come out with something like Dolomite because everyone was doing safe comedy.
Yeah, that's true. But see, also the thing is, it was like a black exploitation, but it was his own character. It's like the thing was he had like a cult following.
Yeah.
That was kind of his thing. He had a cult following, and then he was like, when he was trying to pitch the idea, he was like, people want to see. He's like, it's people that's asking to see this Dolemite movie. That's my fans or whatever. And he was like, yeah, them fans. He said them fans only cover 5 blocks. And he was like, well, it's 5 square blocks in every city that want to see.
Yeah, I love that line, man. The second I heard that line, man, I like, you can put that on a poster, man. For anybody that's like on a hustle, like especially if you do the kind of stuff we're doing now, it's like, look, if you can hit the same five square blocks in every city, you set.
Right. If you find your fan base and you find your audience, you good, because you're gonna always make some. You're going to make some money and you're going to have success if you have a fan base.
Right.
If you got a target group of people that you appeal to, you're going to have success no matter how somebody tell you ain't good, you ain't going to do it. No, you still going to have more success they think you're going to have because you already got your group that that likes this stuff.
Because I feel like within entertainment, people always have this abstract idea of, okay, you got to hit this many people and you got to get this, like, Don't worry about the big number.
Well, they tell you about you got to do this for this is what everybody likes or whatever. No, if I can find my group of people, them group of people, and they're gonna stay loyal.
Right.
So that's the best thing to do. Get you a fan base first, and then you can start taking things to the next level. So he got his fan base with his records. I really like how he did those records. He had made it look like it was like an exclusive club or something where they look like he didn't have no cover. He just had like a little stamp on it or whatever.
Yep.
So when people buy those, they be like, "Damn, what's that?" That's the top secret thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It made it look like it was a top secret file or something.
It's like eating off the secret menu. It ain't like it wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't on the secret menu.
Right, and then people, what's that? So everybody jumping on that. But
exactly.
So so moving on, he had start getting his success. Then he's like, man, let me make this movie, dude. And that's where one of my favorite performances come in at. Wesley Snipes.
Man, I'm gonna just say first off,
Wesley was having it up though, but he made me laugh so hard.
Yo,
what you gonna say?
I've been telling folks, like, look, the movie's great, you're gonna love it, but you ain't ready for Wesley Snipes.
That boy. You think you just gonna come in here and hire me? I got an agent, baby.
I am a professional. I got an agent.
You just gonna come in here and hire me? You gonna do it? No, nigga. I got all big, man. I don't know. He was kind of being a little flamboyant, but then it cracked me up when a dude was like, "I work with Roman Polanski." And he was like, man, you was an elevator operator in Rosemary Babies, man. You ain't nothing, dog. Like, man.
But you know what? Like, I love how bougie his character was, because even in talking about, when I played the elevator operator, do you think that it was like, it was the elevator operator.
It was in a movie with Roman Polanski. Probably didn't even know you was there. You was in there for 2 minutes. Come on, dude.
Oh man.
So, no, I like all the performances. And it's like that cast of all these good actors that earn they stripes. Not just like dudes, not the actors out now that they just throwing out there. No, all these people earn their position. So I think Mike Epps is his friend, and I can't remember the other guy name. He had another friend that worked with him in the record store. That was just like, the one friend that just always, he's there. He probably ain't got no special skills, but that's your homeboy, so you always gonna put him on.
Right. I will say, like, one of the great things about this is like the only bad performances in this movie are bad because they were supposed to be. Yeah. Which is a really hard balance to get. Usually when you see someone trying to pretend to be bad at something, it's annoying. But it's like it comes off as endearing, like, especially if you've seen the movies. It's like, okay.
So I'm gonna talk about the main performance, Eddie Murphy as Dolemite, which he in every scene he steals the movie, and I think he really I love the movie, but I got a problem with Eddie Murphy. he don't feel like Dolemite. He feel like Eddie Murphy.
You know, it's funny. As I'm watching the movie, all I'm thinking of is he shouldn't have been the one playing Dolemite. You know, I love him. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know what? Matter of fact, because you know what it was when I saw Dolemite, like the actual movie Dolemite.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking if they ever reboot this, they need to cast Wesley Snipes.
I
Like,
didn't even think about that.
You know, because like he got that same kind of, you know, like oddly malleable face, you know, where it's like always in the scowl, and then when he smiles, like, whoa, stop doing that. What are you doing with your teeth?
Well, see, it ain't just that. It's more of to me, like his voice, his presence. I just didn't feel. I didn't feel the Rudy Ray Moore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just felt. I felt like it was Eddie Murphy. You know, even I feel like I could do a better impression of Dolemite than Eddie Murphy did in this movie. For as you know, when Dolemite Is My Name, he sound like his Eddie Murphy voice. He don't sound like Dolemite. I know, you know, you don't want to get too caught up in trying to imitate.
Well, you know, like even the way Rudy Ray Moore did it, it was, you know, I'm being exuberant because the character is exuberant.
Right.
You know? But when Eddie does it, it's like, this is Eddie when he's getting loud.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I know Rudy Ray Moore had like a distinct voice, you know. And I feel like if he had a good writer, he could actually did more music. I just feel like he just sound like one of them old blues singers. You know, he just had that one song, ring a ding dong. It's like, okay, he had shitty lyrics, but I think with his voice, if he had a good writer, he could have actually did more with some like blues or whatever, because he had that distinct voice, you know. And it was like, okay, Eddie ain't even getting close to his voice, you know. And like I said, I know you don't want to get caught up in imitating when you're trying to do a biopic, but I mean, I need to feel like this Rudy Ray Moore, not Eddie Murphy. That's that's the problem. Where you iconic so much of somebody already knowing who you are, you can't do what you've been doing because you're gonna feel like you. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my issue. I got over that and I just enjoyed the movie. But I kind of felt like I never was watching Rudy Ray Moore. You know, I just felt like I was watching Eddie Murphy just do something. You know,
like I don't know if there's anyone who I think could have played both the character of Dolemite and Rudy Ray Moore other than Rudy Ray Moore.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a good job of switching. Of you know, when he on stage, he's Dolemite. When he's because he was a good person as Rudy Ray Moore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they put the movie together, Wesley Snipes was being bougie and being shitty to the crew. And, you know, he checked him on that. You know what I'm saying? He pulled him to the side like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody putting everything they got into this. Some people ain't even getting paid right now. And, you know, you come in the set talking this shit, you know, he you know, it's cool, baby. It's cool. You know, I really like that, man. I like the heart in this movie, man.
Yeah, and I think that's really the standout of this film, man. This movie has entirely too much heart, man. Like,
I know.
It's like every time he's talking to somebody, I'm like, man, I feel that, you know.
And it's the whole point of the fact when somebody it's that whole nobody told me I could do it, but I'm gonna do it. Like, did it on his own, like you know what I'm saying? He sacrificed everything and did it on his own, and he made it. You know, that is a special story because I mean, I feel like I've been hit with a lot of those obstacles myself in life, and then I feel like, man, should I quit or whatever? And then it's like seeing stuff like this, like, yeah, I'm respecting that. It's kind of inspiring, you know, to me, where I'm like, do your own thing.
Yeah, and also, you don't get to see that story being told, I think, often enough about people like us.
Exactly.
You know?
But look.
And so to see one of us actually do it and actually have it pay off, because, you know, more often than not, if the movie's got one of us in this, you know, the guy dies before the thing gets popular, you know.
Yeah, but see, and that's my and that's my thing. I feel like I said, it's inspiring to people that don't do their own thing and just always told no. Look how many times if you and I just try to break into the business, they're gonna say, no, you ain't got the look, you ain't got this, you ain't got that. I'm gonna do my own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just like inspiring to see somebody just like, hey, I don't care how many times y'all say no, I'm gonna make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And he went out, got there, and got all this money together and made this movie. Now we can talk about let's talk about the actual Dolemite movie that he made. So I say it was similar to the Disaster Artist before. It's like, what went wrong? But if you look at it, it's probably on par for what that was out at that time. But it was definitely amateurish, what they call that, independent film. At the time, when you watch it compared to like the major films, like even black films like Hell Up in Harlem or Black Caesar and Superfly and what's the other one, Shaft. Like those were the popular black movies at the time. And then when Dolemite came out, it was just like he just made this shit himself. Now, why did he use a stunt double for his fight scenes? Or
I think I would go so far as to say it honestly never occurred to him not to be the guy doing the karate and kung fu.
I mean, that kind of goes with egos. Like, look, man, I'm just gonna learn. Like, it was clear he did not know karate.
Yeah.
But it was so funny seeing him trying to fake these fight scenes in this movie.
Like, what movie? There's the opening scene from Dolemite that they show him when he gets arrested.
Oh, when he gets out of jail?
When he gets arrested. Okay. And it's like, is that any angle we can shoot this at to make him look like he knows what he's doing? No such angle exists.
No, I like after that he was like, is that good? He's like, I don't see a reason to do another take. It ain't gonna be better.
Like, look, again, I've been talking about it a lot since I saw the movie, but the face acting from Wesley Snipes in this movie, man, I see no reason to do another take.
And then he asked him like, hey, is that like Shaft? And he just kind of like blinked like, I'm not gonna say nothing. Like he just didn't say shit. So yeah, I mean, that stuff, scenes like that is actually iconic with me because I remember watching the Arsenio Hall show way back in the early '90s, and he put that clip in his show because he was Van Damme had a movie coming out, and then Van Damme was like, "Yeah, I got a clip for," I think it was Universal Soldier. He's like, "Yeah, I got a clip for my new movie or whatever," and then they showed that clip. And I was like, that's the first time I saw it. I was like, what the hell was that? Because I was hella young. I was like, what the hell was that? He's like, it's the FBI. You ought to take me. Man.
Oh man.
That's part of how iconic Dolemite is, the fake fight scene.
Yeah.
Like the bad karate, the bad kung fu scenes is part of it. You know what I'm saying? And it just became a cult classic, man. I remember hearing about Dolemite thinking it was like on par with Superfly and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually sat down and watched it like, what the hell? But we laughed the whole time watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you see the movie, he was kind of like, that's kind of like his intent. You know, I want to make people laugh. I want to give them action. I want to give them titties. You know what I'm saying? I want to give them all that stuff in the movie. Yeah, because I remember when he first got out of jail, he went off on the Dolemite. No, I won't you. You immature rat suit, nappy head, motherfucker. You know. Insecure. Yeah.
Insecure, rat soup eating, something, motherfucker.
That was my shit, dog.
that always got me. I'm like, how does he say that like he mean it every single time?
Right. So, it was. I really liked the fact that the movie felt like it wasn't going to be a success. He wasted all his money, and as the character, I'm gonna find a way. He found a way. And he started selling the movie to local theaters, and then appearing himself, and it just started selling out. So that was I really like how they did that, man. And I'm trying to. Well, I guess there wouldn't be really a spoiler. This ain't really. It's just a scene that he did was so touching to me at the end, where people couldn't buy the ticket or whatever, or people they had to wait, and you know, he let the early show instead of showing the instead of just going into the premiere. He stayed out there with the people that had to wait outside in line and just gave them a show outside. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, that stuff right there. They made him look like he was a good ass person. Now I don't know if they embellished a lot, but I was like, man, hey, he was a good ass person doing shit like that. You know, like gave a damn about his fans. So I really like that. I wondered, was that one kid in there that was kind of rapping with him? Was he supposed to be like a rapper and like a? Was that supposed to be like Biz Markie or something? You know,
I don't know. I had meant to look into that, man. See if that was supposed to be somebody for real.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna take your style. I'm gonna turn it into a music form or whatever. He's like, yeah, all right, I hear you. You know, I'm like, okay, that's probably supposed to be, you know, somebody that started off rapping or whatever. So it could have been like Biz Markie or somebody. That's cool though. But yeah, it was a good movie. Like I said, it has a lot of heart, especially that scene with Lady Reed. You know, basically just telling you know how she was grateful, giving her a chance, and you know, nobody made her feel beautiful before, but you know, Dolemite made her feel like she was important and stuff. So Rudy Ray Moore made her feel like she was important or whatever. So I really like that, man. I thought it was a good ass movie, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give my rating. I know you're gonna have to go to work soon, but like I said, my problems just come from Eddie Murphy not really capturing Dolemite, not really capturing Rudy Ray Moore, but the movie is so well done that I can get over that. I got over the fact that he didn't feel like Dolemite, but it felt like Eddie Murphy doing the movie. So getting into the movie, the whole biopic of a character, a person trying to build themselves and make it big and grow and stuff. So the movie on that standpoint was an excellent, well shot, good movie, and it's worth seeing. Check it out; it's on Netflix. So I'm gonna give it, man. I'm gonna give it an epic, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an epic. I think I ain't did too many epics this year. I'm gonna give it an epic. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an epic. I rarely give biopics and dramas. I usually give them like dopes. I give this movie an epic, man. Yeah, so that's my rating. What you give?
You know, it's funny, man. Like I've watched quite a few biopics, and every time it's like I almost always walk away with either thinking, "What was that?" or "Oh, that was interesting." This is the first biopic I've watched where I was sorry that the movie was over. You know, like, and so it's like it's a really enjoyable movie. It's like one of the funnest rides I've been on, and especially for it to be based on real events. That's highly unusual.
Right.
You know, I don't think I know any person, period, in my entire life that I wouldn't shop this movie to. You know, I'm gonna give it an epic.
Okay, all right, 2 epics, man. I mean, like, cause I'm thinking like, I feel like I'm gonna give it an epic because I feel like I've seen a few biopics in the past couple of years, and I feel like they didn't give you nothing that wasn't already public knowledge.
Yeah,
you know, that includes like that Tupac, that Biggie, that Queen, that Elton John, you know, like they had a lot of biopics in the past couple of years, and I feel like they didn't give me nothing. You know, everything I've read seen in the news, or you can read on Google, is exactly what's in that movie. You know,
I think another thing that really works for this is so often you watch these and it's like, yeah, that's who you were told that guy was. You know,
yeah,
and so like they portray the guy as though he's the character he's supposed to be. So it's like with Tupac, it's like Tupac in All Eyes on Me is exactly the same Tupac that would go on TV and, you know, lecture people, you know, so on a talk show.
They didn't give us nothing we haven't seen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that I can't get that epic because I seen all this. You didn't give me no in-depth in that character, what's going on in his mind.
Exactly. Know? And so like getting to see all these phases of Rudy Ray Moore and like who he is when he's on top, who he is when he's beaten down low.
Right.
That's what really makes it such a great watch is they portray him as human in this.
Right. And it's just this movie just inspiring to me personally, you know, because it's so many times that I get told I can't do it and I just do it. and then at the end I be winning. Because then I think if I listen to that person, I wouldn't even be where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The hell with that. You know what I'm saying? Just go for it. So, epic movie. Go see it or check it out on Netflix. It's worth it. I hope it do well so they can get more movies like this.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
All right, that is our review for Dolemite Is My Name. Now I was about to say, now I'm glad they didn't get to the Charlene Dolemite by the time you got to it. Now that was later in his life.
We don't need to talk about that one right now.
He was trying to play off his old love for karate and kung fu by putting him in kung fu movies, and it was bad, dude. We might have to do another review about the Charlene Dolemite. Man, we got to review the Charlene Dolemite.
You know what? That's probably going to have to be on the list now. We're going to have to do it.
All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. All right. Appreciate y'all for checking out the video. Give us some thumbs up and some likes. And subscribe to the channel. I think I said.
And of course, as always, feel free to comment. We want to know what y'all thought about the movie. Do you think we full of it? I mean, we know we ain't, but feel free to say it.
Yes. All right, we out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.